Hi everybody, welcome to the CACEIS talk series. Today we're presenting the CACEIS Connect Store and a new fintech solution that we're adding to the CACEIS Connect Store. My name is Scott Foster. I'm a head of unit as a part of the 3D digital team at CACEIS, and I'm pleased to be joined by Nicola Losito, a director at Arendt regulatory and consulting company, who's here today to present his solution on how they can help CRS with our Perez clients with CRS and FATCA reporting live on the Connect Store today. And so with that as an introduction, if we go on to these slides, for the agenda today, we want to reintroduce what the CACEIS Connect Store is and highlight, of course, the solution that we're adding today onto the Connect Store, Arendt regulatory and consulting group. And so to reintroduce you to the CACEIS Connect Store and what it is, for us at CACEIS, we wanted to create a marketplace for our clients to access the latest and greatest fintech solutions on the market. And from our perspective, we are constantly looking at fintech partners, doing our due diligence on new vendors and new products that we can add value to CACEIS clients. And so from that side, it's a part of our data as a service strategy. It's a part of our client value add strategy. And as mentioned, we're constantly reviewing and assessing new fintechs that you, CACEIS clients, can directly access through your client portal, OLIS, and have direct access and direct connectivity with your data through the CACEIS Connect Store. So how does the CACEIS Connect Store work? There are two main models, two key principles. One, it's a business introduction model where we add a Connect Store partner in and simply advertise and promote the service to our clients. And there's a more integrated model as well on the CACEIS Connect Store where we are doing more IT connectivity and work, plugging in the vendor's data, plugging in your data, all on one system, all through a single sign-on protocol as well, giving you a seamless sort of plug and play to all of your data available at CACEIS and integrated fully into the fintech's solution. The CACEIS Connect Store, as I mentioned, is located directly on OLIS. As you can see on the screen, on the sort of menu bar, the Connect Store is highlighted there in red. So it's easy for you to access today live on your client platform OLIS. And it's essentially a catalog and a menu here of looking at all the range of fintech solutions that are available on the CACEIS Connect Store. When you click on, let's say you're interested in one of these solutions, you click on Learn More. You then access this page here, which gives you a high-level description of the service, screenshots, product sheets, pricing, and as well as contact information for you to be able to reach out to said vendor and even subscribe to said vendor all digitally through the platform. And so it's a very intuitive, very easy way to access, review, and understand what fintechs are available on the CACEIS Connect Store with a seamless way of integrating and subscribing to the service through the CACEIS Connect Store. And yeah, it's live today and available for you to access. So if you're on OLIS, please go ahead and check it out. Let's say you've subscribed to a service. In this case, this client has subscribed to Clarity AI. You might ask yourselves, okay, how do I access the fintech? How do I access the platform? How do I access my data? And to answer these questions, we've created a widget here called My Apps. So similar to like on your iPhone, once you download or an Android device, once you download an application, you can see that on your home page. You can see that on your screen. On My Apps, it's a similar protocol. It's the service that you've subscribed to. You click into Go to My App, and through a single sign-on protocol, you will have direct access to, in this case, the Clarity AI platform, and you'll be able to then log into the subscribed services with all of your data already preloaded onto this fintech application. So in the background, all of the data mapping, connectivity, and IT work is fully managed by CACEIS on your behalf as a client. So it's a really value-added service for you as a client of CACEIS. Today, There are 6 live fintech applications on the CACEIS Connect Store with a full range of use cases. On the left here, we have Clarity AI, which helps clients with ESG and climate data. Osmos, which is a front office solution designed to help portfolio managers manage their positions that are currently using Excel, and it helps sort of bring that Excel data to life. Sysmo, a quantamental platform for portfolio managers to really look at how your portfolio is faring in market ups and downs. Fund Globum, cross-border fund distribution support. DRRT, class action settlement support, and as well as that Alpha Omega. So that's all of the regulatory reporting for your Perez funds and Perez for our Perez clients. And so as you can see, a full range of value-added solutions that are designed to really make your life and your job easier as clients of CACEIS, and give you the ability to focus on your core role and core job as a fund manager, ACD or asset owner or Perez fund. And so finally, what is the CACEIS Connect Store? In essence, the title here describes it quite well. It's a win-win model where we bring in the best of breed fintechs and solutions available on the marketplace today, and we integrate that into the CACEIS ecosystem to give you, the client, access to your data and give you, the client, access to real value-added solutions that will help you on in your day-to-day activities. As mentioned, it's readily available through OLIS with easy accessibility and a very simple registration process where you can subscribe to said fintechs directly using your client login on OLIS. And as mentioned as well, all of the IT connectivity is managed on the background, so there's no extra project work for you, the client, to access all of these interesting and great fintechs. And so with that, having given you a whistle-stop tour through the CACEIS Connect Store, I'd now like to hand over to Nicola Losito, who's going to go through Arendt regulatory and consulting services and how his company and his team is designed to support you, the client, with your CRS and FATCA reporting and make it as streamlined, efficient, and as cost-effective as possible. So with that, thank you very much. Nicola, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure, Scott, to be here with you today. So my name is Nicola Losito. I am director at Arendt Regulatory and Consulting. We are very proud, very happy to have created this partnership, to have been chosen by CACEIS actually to assist them and to assist you, CACEIS client, in the context of the FATCA and CRS reporting obligations. So in the next slide, I will go to show you a bit how these, very practically speaking, how these materializes, how we can assist you, what will be requested from you, what is our hopefully added value that we will be able to bring in to make sure that you just focus on what is strictly necessary on your side, and we take over all the technicalities, all the administrative burden which is not necessarily very time efficient on your side, making sure that you really focus only on what needs to be focused on. So first of all, Arendt Regulatory and Consulting, who are we? So we are a consulting firm. I mean, as the name says it, we are regulatory experts. We are based in Luxembourg, but we do actually provide our services in different countries, so it's not Luxembourg-centric, and effectively, with respect to FATCA CRS, we are capable of assisting you with your duties towards the French tax authorities. So here the CACEIS clients are meant to be the French asset managers in charge of PRS funds, and the idea is really to interact with you to ensure that we can assist you and indirectly your funds in complying with all these duties. But just as a introduction here, so we are today, so we have been, the company has been created almost 12 years ago, and we have today over 150 dedicated people, which are mainly professionals of the financial sector. So we do cover several areas of expertise. We have a banking experience, we have insurance experience, and above all, we do work a lot in the context of the fund industry, being it the liquid fund space, but also and especially the alternative fund space, and that's exactly the focus of today. What is our added value, or what makes us a bit different than others? It's really, we come from a very regulatory background, so the first aim is to give you the correct understanding and interpretation of legal and regulatory requirements, and then we basically take that knowledge and we try to transform it in a way that it's first of all understandable for you, that it does make sense for you, but also we assist you, we help you putting these in practice depending on the way you are organized, your strategy, the type of business that you do have. And so our idea is not just to give you advice, but you take you hand in hand, I mean, to be with you in your day-to-day to make sure that whatever are your regulatory requirements, these can be met in an efficient and time efficient way. As a brief reminder, I'm sure you all know what FATCA and CRS is about, but maybe as a very brief reminder of why are we talking about FATCA CRS. I mean, it's important to remind that FATCA and CRS applies to everybody, individuals and entities. And obviously, we talk about two fiscal laws, and it's important here also to mention that there are two parallel, very similar, and sometimes also a bit with some specificities, with some slight differences, which sometimes make it a bit challenging to understand why something is in a certain way for FATCA and not necessarily the same or fully aligned under CRS. But the idea is really, so it's a fiscal, there are two fiscal laws, and the idea is to combat tax evasion through the secured and controlled exchange of financial information that should allow target tax authorities to obtain information from trusted sources, which can then be reconciled with the information that each person, each entity would be declaring as part of their tax declaration. So it's a sort of double check that has to be performed under certain rules. And again, although the idea is straightforward, as usual, when it comes to the detail, that's where it might become a bit tricky, and the idea is really to assist you here. And when it comes to, so let's focusing on your clients, so you CACEIS clients, mainly asset managers, so you do take on the obligations, the FATCA and CRS obligations of your funds, and in that context, the funds are likely to qualify as, we call it, the reporting foreign financial institutions. So these are the entities that act as some sort of financial intermediaries, managing money on behalf of their clients, their investors. And in that context, these reporting financial institutions need to have two main obligations, which are the due diligence obligations, so making sure that they collect sufficient information from each investor to be able to assess the tax residency of the investor, and based on the tax residency and based on the FATCA and CRS status, you then are able to assess to what extent this investor needs to be reported to the tax authorities, and obviously, if there is a reporting need, you need to create that report. You need to submit that report to the tax authorities. So all these are the obligations that are directly imposed on your funds that, as I said, all qualify as financial institutions, and that's where we would like to assist you, making sure that whatever you need to perform on behalf of your fund, we can take most of the process on our side, making sure effectively that we can then decrease the number of burden, administrative, regulatory interpretations. I mean, all these should be a interaction between us and you to make sure that you finally can ensure compliance with these rules. In terms of figure, just to give you a bit of an idea what we're talking about, so these are figures that are publicly available on the website of the US tax authorities, the IRS. So to give you a bit of an example, you see that in Luxembourg, typically we have, as of end of March, we have a bit more than 25,000 entities that have registered as reporting financial institutions. And you can also see that the number in France is slightly lower. It's about 8,500 entities, and this gives you also a bit the idea of how many entities in France have also an equivalent CRS obligation. We today at Arendt Regulatory and Consulting, we cover several countries, and we do assist our clients in the production and filing of almost 2,000 FATCA or CRS reports in a year. So as a reminder, this is an annual obligation, generally around end of June, mid-July, depending on the country. These are a bit an idea of how many financial institutions have been established in the various countries. What are the steps? Now let's go a bit more into the detail. What are the steps? What needs to be ensured to be performed in order to meet the regulatory obligations? So first of all, you would need, you on behalf of your funds, you would need to prepare the FATCA and CRS report by collecting sufficient information, by making sure that you can assess if an investor is reportable or not, under FATCA and separately under CRS. Under step 2, you would have to notify, and this is more a data protection requirement. That's basically making sure that all your investors that are individuals are notified, are informed that you are going to exchange their personal data with the tax authority. Although this is a legal requirement, a protection of individuals require you to inform somehow your investors, to remind them on an annual basis. Although in some countries this is not an obligation, but the idea is really to make sure that every time you are going to transmit the information to the tax authority, your investors know and have the capacity to review the data and rectify their personal information if they are no longer accurate, if there has been a change of tax residency, making sure that the information is sent to the right tax authority. Once all this has been performed, we take over all the data, we transform it in a specific technical format, which is an XML format. And again, the idea is not to inform you or to explain you what XML is about. We take that burden away from you, but that's the technical format that is required. In certain countries, you need also to encrypt these reports for obvious confidentiality purposes, and you need to use certain dedicated communication channels, which can be websites, secured website, or SFTPs. That's very, it depends. And in France, this is effectively through a website. And the idea here again is to make sure that you do not need to create this link, to make sure that you are capable of encrypting, of submitting. So we take it away from you and we do it for you. And then last but not least, and it's really not least, it's one of the most important, making sure that whenever you submit your obligation or your report to the tax authority, you get a acknowledgement report from the tax authority, and obviously the validation or rejection or acceptance with some observations. I mean, this is the guarantee that the information has been received, reviewed, controlled by the tax authorities, and that all in all you have complied with your duty. So in a nutshell, the main steps here, designed a bit differently, includes the data extraction, the analysis and control of your data, preparation of what would be reportable, review and validation of the reports, filing, acknowledgement, and I would add also validation by the tax authorities. All these steps are the steps that we need to comply with, that you need to comply with on behalf of your funds. And the operating model around this is absolutely free, meaning that we do not impose to you one single very fixed or strict operating model. We do adapt to your organization, to the way you work, to the type of document that you have, to make sure that we can tick the box of each of these steps, but in a way that is time efficient for you, that does make sense without creating additional administrative work on your end. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense all in all to do this through a service provider. What we want to give you, and I will not bother you to going into the technical details again, that's the idea, is to take them away from you, but just to give you an idea of how practically this can work. So let's assume you contact us, we do enter into an agreement, we offer you our services, and we do a kickoff, and as part of the kickoff, we explain to you again, and this is an annual obligation, so every year we will give you an information about what are the basics, the foundations of the laws, and if there have been some news, some additional requirements imposed by tax authorities. And so all these is part of the preparatory work that we do every year. So we take contact with you and we ask you to liaise with your central administration, your fund administrator, your depository. In France, very often this is done by the depository. So the entity that is in charge of maintaining the investor register. So we ask you to liaise directly with, in this case, most of the time it will be CACEIS. So CACEIS acting as your depository, you will keep this relation with CACEIS. CACEIS will make you available the registers. We will ask you also to provide us with the FATCA CRS statuses of your investors. At a later stage, we will ask you also to provide us with the end-of-year valuation. You need to know that as part of FATCA CRS, you also have a financial data component that needs to be disclosed to the tax authorities. And then also the payments, whether there have been some transfers, some dividends, some redemptions during the years. And again, this is absolutely a step-by-step approach. So we will guide you in a back and forth process, step by step, by providing us the data, and if some data is missing, then we will simply revert to you. And that's what we have materialized here. So you do transmit us the information that you have readily available. We review the data, we make some quality checks around it, we made some consistency checks, and if there is a problem, we simply revert to you, or if there is something missing, or if there are some questions about inconsistencies, we simply revert to you. Once everything is okay, we transpose the data into a very easy to understand Excel template. This template will allow us to create the XML report afterwards. So that template is provided to you for a final review. Again, there is absolutely no complexity. It's just about making sure that you do agree with the investors that we have filtered and where we have in any case already discussed about whether the financial data do make sense, because you are the one knowing the figures of your funds. So no complexity here. And we provide you also with a compliance report. And the compliance report is providing you some figures, some KPIs in terms of how many investors for which fund are effectively going to be reported to the tax authorities, in which countries are you going to file these information, and all this will then be sent over to you for validation. Once validated, we create the reports, we file them, we collect the feedback from the tax authority, we deliver them to you. If there are messages from the tax authorities, we take these messages on, we interpret the information, and we somehow prepare already the answers or the solution, or we advise you on what could be the options or the corrections. So all these interaction, which sometimes becomes very, very technical, that's our job. So making sure that we take the information, we prepare it for you, and you need, I would say, almost, we just need from you a yes or no answer, almost. Right? It's not always that simple, but the idea is effectively to make sure that whatever request could come from the tax authority, we can do the hard job for you and present to you in a easy to understand way. As a reminder, because we are already now end of April, so this year the regulatory deadline in France has been set to the 15th of July. So no stress, we have plenty, we are absolutely in time to make this work, and the idea is really to invite you to take contact with us via the Connect Store, where you will find all the information. We can have a chat, we can re-explain you what we have briefly touched upon today, by trying to see to what extent we will be able to assist you in that respect. So FATCA CRS, no stress. I think that's really, let's face it, it's an annual obligation. This is not your core business. You have to focus on what allows you to do correctly your job. This is a regulatory obligation. So Jan, my partner, myself, as team leader of our regulatory reporting team, we would be more than happy then to assist you. And I must say the good thing is that in the meantime, due to this regulatory deadline, we already have some clients that have reached out to us. We are very happy to share with you that we have been able to sign with all of them, I would say. Although all these clients that have requested our assistance have finally chosen our service. Maybe for the purpose of this presentation today, it could be interesting to maybe share with you. There are some few questions that always jump up, or that are raised by the clients as part of the how to do it, when to do it, why this decision. So maybe, Scott, I don't know, we could maybe look into these questions and give an idea of the main questions. Obviously, we remain at your disposal, and we would be happy to have a further discussion with you for any kind of question that you may have, and feel free to send them over to us.
Quite right, Nicola, thanks for that. And it's a good time and a good segue now to go into a bit of a Q&A. I'm going to go a bit off script here, Nicola, and ask you a question. What does the onboarding process look like? Let's say a client is convinced by the solution, it looks great, they reach out to you. What are the next steps? Yeah,
that's very easy. And first of all, you see our contact details here, but again, you have on the Connect Store, you will see our contact details. You take contact with us, you just tell us, hey guys, it would be interesting to discussing this with you. We organize a first presentation meeting, a conference call, to go again through these presentation, to tell you exactly how we do things, what we are expecting from you, and we present you our pricing that will in any case be disclosed on the website as well. So no surprise there. If you are convinced, there will be a contractual relation, which is a bilateral contractual relation between you. Very often it's a relation that we enter into between the fund manager and Arendt Regulatory and Consulting. So CACEIS is not part of this contractual relation.
That's right.
It's a decision, a strategic decision that CACEIS has taken to step out from that service, but not from its role as depository.
Yeah.
And the idea is really to make sure that you keep your client relationship management with CACEIS, but when it comes to FATCA CRS, there is a relation between you and us. And if we sign, we then organize a kickoff, and within a few weeks' time, we can then effectively start producing the reports for you.
That's perfect, Nicolas. The next question in mind is, what is the timeline? What does it take to generate these reports, and what are the key deadlines? I think you mentioned July, but it's good to reiterate them.
Yes, absolutely. So maybe here it's important to remind the deadline is the 15th of July.
Yep.
Obviously, no need to say that the sooner the better, right? But
Always.
especially because in France, the communication channel closes at a certain point, and this year it will close the day after the deadline. So no need to tell you that in any case, for the clients that have already reached out to us, we are working to make everything happen within end of May, beginning of June, to have sufficient buffer.
A nice buffer zone. Yeah.
Whatever it takes and whatever can happen. But in general, as soon as the information is readily available, you share the information with us. Considering the type of volumes of CACEIS typical clients, the number of reportable accounts, I would say that between 2 and 3 weeks should be a reasonable, really reasonable timeline from the kickoff up to the moment where we get we transmit the reports to the tax authorities. It may take the tax authorities a few days to answer back, but from a regulatory deadline, you meet the deadline once you have filed, or once we have filed the reports on your behalf. So 2 to 3 weeks, and again, we are end of April right now. We have plenty of time. As I said, even if we have to consider the timing of introducing each other, signing the contracts, I mean, there is no time rush, and I must say sometimes it can happen because the regulatory burden are quite important at the level of the clients.
Yes.
It may happen that we did it also in 3-4 days, obviously depending on the availability of data. But as I said, 2 to 3 weeks would be a normal timeline, which absolutely allows you to fit with your obligation.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nicolas. And I think that's a great segue into the final question that we have on screen is, why have we as CACEIS chosen Arendt Regulatory and Consulting Group? And from our perspective, it's really clear from your presentation today about the sort of robust process that goes into creating these reports. I know regulatory reporting is a must-have, but there is no guarantee on timeliness. There's no guarantee on data quality. And so from CACEIS' perspective, having done the due diligence on multiple vendors across the marketplace, we really found a robust process in Arendt's service offering, and we were confident in sort of promoting that to our CACEIS clients, to help them with all of their CRS and FATCA regulatory reporting. And so I would say, that robust track record as well is another factor. The clients that you work with, the volumes that you've worked with, really give us confidence as well that you can handle the extra, the workload, the extra volumes coming in from CACEIS clients. And finally, the final point is, we always think about client first. It's one of our key ethos at CACEIS, and we really see this as a sort of value add product offering that we can give back to CACEIS clients, through this partnership with Arendt. So it's available on the CACEIS Connect Store live today. If it's of interest to you, please go on the CACEIS Connect Store, click the page, and you'll see all of the relevant detail, pricing, product sheets, contact information, and the ability to contact and subscribe straight away. So if it's of interest to you, please feel free. It's available on OLIS on the CACEIS Connect Store. If you can't access that directly, please feel free to reach out to myself, Scott Foster at CACEIS, or Nicolas Losito at Arendt Regulatory
Absolutely.
Consulting.
We are very proud and very grateful for this opportunity, and we look forward to being able to assist you.
Perfect. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.